In the north of Switzerland, right next to the German border, there is a small and rather unremarkable area of land. It has a name, Tägermoos, and at first glance you mainly see fields here. Lots of fields. Here and there's a vegetable farm, and next to them a lot of allotment gardens. Nothing special, you might think, but something here still feels strange. For example, if we take a close look, we will see German traffic signs in the typical German design, but on Swiss territory. And another thing stands out: almost nobody seems to live here. Apart from the gardens and fields, there are only a few old houses. Otherwise, it's mostly flat land. And the more you look, the stranger this place becomes. Well, and this feeling isn't wrong, because Tägermoos is actually something very special. It's some kind of a small part of Germany, but located in Switzerland. Since 1831, the German city of Constance, or Konstanz in the local dialect, has officially been responsible for administering this small Swiss territory of Tägermoos, almost as if it were a regular district of the city. For centuries, gardeners and farmers from Constance have grown vegetables on this land, and because even the paths are administered by the German city, you find German traffic signs on Swiss territory, and a few other odd details as well. Today, I'd like to take a closer look at Tägermoos. How can it actually be that this little piece of land that's actually in Switzerland also somehow belongs to the German city on the other side of the border? And what does this actually mean in practice? Well, let's find out, and let's take a little walk through Tägermoos. Okay, here we are. Welcome to Tägermoos. It's a little bit windy today, but also quite sunny. And yeah, that's how it looks like. And right behind me, you can already see the first little curiosity that I already mentioned in the beginning. You can see a German traffic sign right behind me, which says Anliegerfrei, residents only. And this is not a Swiss traffic sign, it's the German design, even it's on Swiss ground. And right next to me, you can see another sign, and that seems to be the Swiss design, because this main road over here is administered by Switzerland, but those paths over there are administered by Germany. And that's why it's so confusing, and that's why there are so many different traffic signs from different countries here. Well, but before we try to answer the question how this mysterious place actually came about, maybe let's take a little walk through Tägermoos and let's find some more curiosities. Well, although Tägermoos is administered by the German city of Constance, it, of course, belongs to Switzerland under international law. More precisely, to the municipality of Tägerwilen in the canton of Thurgau. And that's also why, when you enter the area from the German side of the border, you also have to cross a customs station. This one right here, the Gottlieber customs station. This crossing has existed for centuries and has always been surprisingly open. Long before open borders became normal in Europe, people here crossed back and forth as part of everyday life. In the past 100 years, this border was fully closed only twice. Once during World War II, when both Nazi Germany and Switzerland wanted to stop border traffic, Germany to prevent escapes and Switzerland to keep refugees out. The second time was only a few years ago, but we will come back to that later. What is quite interesting is that the military border fence built during World War II stayed in place for a very long time. It wasn't until 2006 that it was reduced to a simple garden fence, but some parts of it still remain today as a memorial. Just a few meters after the border stands the Villa Tägermoos, the former customs house. When it was built in 1865, it caused a little conflict. The land actually belonged to Constance, the German town, but Switzerland wanted its own customs building, so Switzerland expropriated a piece of land and built this elegant house to collect customs duties. Later, a new customs building was constructed, and since 2017, the old one has been used as a holiday home, and a publishing company is also based here. Another interesting building is the so-called Trompeterschlössle, which basically means trumpet castle. It looks like a simple manor house, but it has seen a lot of history. In April 1945, a secret meeting is said to have taken place here. At that time, Allied troops were close to Constance, and representatives of the German Red Cross, a high-ranking Nazi official, and allegedly members of the French army met here. The goal was to surrender Constance without a fight, but how important this meeting really was is still debated today. Apart from that, Tägermoos mainly consists of fields, farm paths and the vegetable shop I showed you earlier. It's actually a quite nice area for walking, especially because it lies right next to the Rhine. So if you want to take a long walk by the river, this could be a good place to start. Okay, now we've seen a bit of Tägermoos and we've learned some things, but now it's finally time to answer the most important question. How did this weird geographical oddity actually come about? And why does the city of Konstanz, the German city, own a little piece of Switzerland right here? Well, and you already know it. To find out, we have to go a bit back in time. The roots of this arrangement go back more than 500 years. Tägermoos originally belonged to land owned by the Diocese of Constance in Thurgau. Later, it probably passed to the monastery of St. Jacob, and in 1293, the city of Constance bought the land from the monastery. However, in 1499, during the Swabian War, Constance lost its surrounding territory when Thurgau was occupied. From that point on, Tägermoos lay in a foreign country. But what's interesting is the people of Constance, the farmers and gardeners, were allowed to keep their usage right. And this is how the special status of Tägermoos began.
Even back then, though, the arrangement caused a few problems, because at some point things got a bit confusing. No one really knew who could actually collect taxes here and who could hand out fines, so in 1831 a state treaty was signed.
With this treaty, Thurgau received the land, but the German city of Constance kept the right to use and administer it, almost as if it were part of the city. The land is Swiss, but the administration is German. It sounds strange, but it was seen as the best solution at the time. Why Switzerland actually agreed to this strange deal is no longer fully clear today. However, this treaty regulated things like paths, farming and police powers, but it said nothing about water, electricity or modern infrastructure. These things just didn't exist yet. Over time, the German city of Constance simply took over these tasks in practice. Today, the city supplies water and gas, maintains the paths and even clears brushwood along fields' edges. This is based not on the original treaty, but on later agreements or practical arrangements.
Today, this cooperation between Switzerland and Germany has settled into some kind of a routine. Today, 2/3 of the Tägermoos is owned by the German city of Konstanz. The rest is owned by private persons or Swiss authorities. And the treaty from 1831 is actually still in effect, even though Switzerland is not always happy about it.
In the past, there have been some attempts to change this strange rule, but without Germany's consent, it's actually not possible to change anything. Thurgau would actually like to modernize this treaty, but Germany sees no need. And so this strange deal still exists to this day.
If you walk through the Tägermoos today, you will still find some relics from the area's unusual time. I already showed you some of them. But also in everyday life, you will notice that two countries are sharing responsibility here. And it's not just because of those German street signs on Swiss ground.
You could especially see that during the COVID pandemic in 2020. During that time, the border between Germany and Switzerland was completely closed, including the Gottlieber customs station. For joggers from Constance, this was simply annoying. For farmers and gardeners, it was a serious business problem. At some time, the mayor of Constance promised transit permits, but no one knew where to get them. The city administration didn't know, the mayor's office didn't know, and Swiss customs didn't either. After some weeks of discussions, commercial farmers at least received permits. Allotment gardeners, however, had to wait. This situation lasted 8 weeks. But apart from exceptional cases like a pandemic, there are still many unsolved questions here. For example, if a German farmer has an accident here, a Swiss ambulance comes, but nobody actually knows who pays this ambulance. The German insurance, Switzerland, or no one? This legal grey zone also creates other strange situations. For example, it's unclear whether a German farmer is allowed to leave his tractor on his Swiss fields for a longer time. And if someone wants to sell organic vegetables in both countries, they need 2 separate certifications with double the paperwork. But this complexity and this strange deal also, in a way, protects Tägermoos. For example, you can't build anything here. You always need approval from 2 countries. Apart from a highway built in the 1970s, the area has remained largely untouched. Today, the old treaty of 1831 almost acts like a shield, protecting the fields, gardens and the beautiful landscape of Tägermoos.
Okay, here we are. That was my video about, and that was my little walk through the Tägermoos. A little curiosity at the Swiss-German border. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something. If you did, then please leave a thumbs up. You can also hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss any upcoming video. And if you'd like to support me and my work, you can also do that, for example, on Patreon, or you can become a channel member on my YouTube channel. Then you will get exclusive stuff and new videos before everyone else, so you should check that out. That's it for today. Have a safe journey and see you next time.